What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and today we're talking about the Kanto Cup in Season 11 of Go Battle League. For those not in the loop, the Kanto Cup is a special limited format in which only Pokemon who have a Pokedex number between 1 and 151, so from Bulbasaur to Mew, can actually participate. Now, this does include regional variants because those Pokemon actually share the Pokedex number, so Alolan Sandslash, Galarian Farfetch'd, Galarian Ponyta, picks like that are still eligible to compete as long as they have that Pokedex number that is within 1 and 151. Now, this has been a popular format when it was first introduced quite a few seasons ago. It's reasonably well balanced. There are a few Pokemon that run away with it, but also you can compete pretty well without those Pokemon, as this team is going to show, because some of the most dominant Pokemon are those bulky normal types like Chansey, Lickitung, Snorlax. If you had meta picks like Hypno and Nidoqueen, all do very, very well in the Kanto Cup meta, but this team doesn't use any of them, and I've gone on a 21-4 streak with this game. That's 2 5-1 sets, 2 4-1 sets, and a 3-2, so very, very solid performance without the hardest meta choices. Now, there is a bonus this week of triple Stardust in the Go Battle League rewards, but unfortunately the only other cup at the same time as Kanto Cup is the Open Master League, and that level 50 Master League scene is very hard to compete in. It's very inaccessible to a lot of trainers unless you're a raid heavy player that grinds out those XLs to level 50 legendary Pokemon. You're probably going to struggle, so Kanto Cup is likely your best and most accessible choice, and it is worth playing. You can rack up a lot of dust each day grinding out those matches, so it is worth trying to get a semi-reasonable team together and grinding some wins out. Also wanted to let you guys know that I am attending the Seville Safari Zone in Spain in a couple of weeks time. My gameplay day is Saturday, so if you do happen to spot me around the park, don't be afraid to come up, say hi. I'd love to get to meet some of you guys. I'm not sponsored or anything to be there, just decided I've never been out to an international Pokemon Go event before, so I wanted to travel out, check it out, get my feet wet a little bit with that and experience and meet some of the community. Obviously COVID's been pretty hard on everybody, and I'm just looking forward to getting to meet some people again. Speaking of the community, if you haven't joined ours yet, hit the subscribe button, become an absolute legend. Today we're doing this all the time, bringing top teams to help you stay ahead of the curve in Go Battle League. If you're enjoying the content, hit the like button and let's take a look at today's team. On the lead on this team, we're going to be running Blastoise, and this is Legacy Blastoise. It does have access to Hydro Cannon, which is its Community Day move, very, very strong move. Blastoise is nice and bulky in the Great League format. It's often overshadowed by other water types, but holds its own very well in a Kanto exclusive meta. In the Say Swap, we're bringing Beedrill. Beedrill, again, Community Day move of Drill Run. Fantastically strong Pokemon on the Say Swap position. Again, often shut down by some of the more stronger meta Great League picks that are outside the Kanto region, but when you're locked exclusively to those picks, Victreebel shines through very, very well. And in the back, we're running Sandslash, Alolan Sandslash specifically. Again, Community Day move of Shadow Claw, so this is a triple Community Day move team, but they're also relatively cheap. Beedrill and Blastoise are only 10,000 just for a second move. Quite accessible Pokemon at this point. It's a very, very strong team. As I said, 24 wins and 4 losses is crazy showing for any team in any league at any point, really. It's a great win streak to go on. The match I just showed at the beginning of the video was the 25th game, and now I'm going to show you matches 1 through 24 in order, fairly quick. I'm not going to talk through all the games. I'm probably going to maybe talk through the first 2 sets and then just have the other ones there for you guys to see and check out if you want to see some more gameplay and get a bit more of a feel for the team for yourselves. So let's go ahead and jump into matchup number 1, and I lose this first game, and you're going to see why. Look in the bottom right corner at Sandslash. What CP does that say? Does that say 31 CP? Yes. Yes, it does. I have a rank 1 Great League Alolan Sandslash that has the Community Day move, but it was level 1 when I caught it, and I had not powered it up. I'd forgot to power it up before I put the team together and jumped into a match. So I'm dealing with an essentially only with 2 Pokemon in this game, and you're going to see that it would have been a very, very close game, if not definitely my matchup to win, if Sandslash had have had a little bit more than like 10 HP to deal with. But we make mistakes, and sometimes you do. Sometimes you just build a team, you're excited to use, like, yeah, we're all ready, and you jump in, you forget to power up a Pokemon, and it costs you a game. But once I realised, I was like, well, I'm going to play the match out anyway. We're going to see how it goes, see if we can take the win regardless without the Sandslash. We're going to hope Blastoise can carry us through the rest of this game. So, what does this opponent have in the back after this Marowak goes down? It's their own Alolan Sandslash, but Powder Snow rather than Shadow Claw as a fast move. You see, we tried to catch a charge move on our Sandslash. We don't quite get it because we know that all it's good for right now is catching a charge move. It's not going to be able to put any work in. Even though the Powder Snows from their Sandslash are going to be double resisted, we're only 31 CP. We've only got like 10 HP. We're not going to be able to take those moves at all. We're not going to be able to put any working with the Sandslash unless we manage to catch a move. And you see we get immediately Powder Snow down. They're going to make it to an Ice Punch and just take us out and take that win. If we had have had a full CP Sandslash, I believe the Shadow Claws and getting to one Ice Punch would have been enough to give us that win. But GG to the opponent. Just remember to power up your Pokemon after you build a new team before you jump into matchups, because it will cost you. This could have been a 22-3 streak, but no, it's 21-4 because I was a bit of a fool and did not power up my Sandslash. Matchup 2, Sandslash is ready to go and we've got a Shadow Machamp on the lead, and this is a reasonable lead. Machamp can put a lot of work in here because those Shadow counters do such oppressive damage, but also if we can keep Machamp away from the Sandslash, which is double weak to fighting, then we might be looking good in the back because we doubt they'll have another counter that is as hard of a punish to Sandslash as Machamp is. So we force a shield out of them, we're going to let this one go, and then we're just going to come in and farm down with Beedrill. Beedrill with energy is very threatening to the Kanto meta in general. That Drill Run is fantastic against the fire types, the X-Scissor does well against the Psychics. They bring in a Shadow Hypno, so we're going to swap into Alolan Sandslash just because those Confusions are going to do double super effective damage, and that is going to add up over time. So we get a bit of Shadow Claw damage in, we shield up a Fire Punch which would hit very, very hard because again, double super effective to Alolan Sandslash. But you're going to see we get a lot of energy and we can put a lot of work in here because we've got an Alolan Sandshrew on the opponent's team. I'm going to be able to hit them pretty hard with this, with the Bulldoze, does big damage. And now we can take this Nightslash, probably farm down entirely, and then start dumping Ice Punches into this Hypno. Now we might get farmed down, but the charge moves from Hypno aren't the most threatening thing to Beedrill. It's the fast moves, it's the Confusion that's super effective and hits hard. And we saved an X-Scissor. And Beedrill wins CMP tie against a lot of things in the Kanto meta. It's got a very high attack stat relative to most other Pokemon in this CP range. So we're going to win CMP tie, throw first, take out the Hypno and take the win. Good game. Now against a non-Shadow Hypno, Alolan Sandslash can survive a Fire Punch. Hits very hard, but you can survive it. But against a Shadow, it's going to hit way too hard. Matchup number 3, we've got a Venomoth on the lead, which swaps out to a Gengar. And they throw a Shadow Punch because they only throw 5 Shadow Claws. So we know it's Shadow Punch, we're going to take it, not shield, then swap into our Sandslash and start Shadow Clawing down. Again, we don't need to shield, it's just a Shadow Punch. They're only throwing 5 Shadow Claws at a time, so they're not threatening with Gengar's big nuke move, so we can farm down entirely, get a huge energy lead, and now we can really threaten pretty much whatever comes in here in this matchup. We're going to come in with Venomoth, and it is a Confusion Venomoth, and I do believe that's the normal fast move you do want to run on Venomoth in the Great League, but we're just going to probably shield this up. We've still got a lot of energy. Underestimated just how fast Venomoth does get to those Poison Fangs, but we've got 2 more Ice Punches here to dump in to either get a shield or take them out. They used to let it go down, and it looks like, was that a Haunter in the back as well? It might be running Gengar and Haunter as their safe swaps. They let the Ice Punch go through for who knows what reason. At this point we've still got a shield, we can just Water Gun down entirely with Blastoise. Haunter and Gengar both do very well against Beedrill because they resist the poison jabs, and those Shadow Punches are going to do big damage because Beedrill is a little squishy, but Blastoise Water Gun damage is going to be oppressive enough to take out the Haunter and give us the win. GG! Remember that Haunter and Gengar can be very strong safe swaps, especially if they build up to 8 Shadow Claws to the point where they could have Shadow Ball or Sludge Bomb or some other harder hitting move. Then you want to consider shielding in that position. Now, matchup number 4, I think we've got a Golbat on the lead. And the good thing about Blastoise as a lead is it's reasonably versatile, especially having that Skull Bash as a secondary charge move for neutral damage against other waters and against any water and ice types. But we do want to stay in this matchup because Golbat is a hard wall to Beedrill, and we find a lot with this team that Blastoise keeps catching leads that either Beedrill or Sandslash really struggle with, which means you can kind of deal with some of the biggest threats and then pave the way for one of your Pokemon in the back to sweep quite comfortably. Now this opponent swaps out for a Legacy Dugong, bringing the Ice Shard and the Icy Wind Legacy moves. Dugong again, very strong pick, fantastic bulk and great versatility, but Sandslash is going to be resisting the Icy Winds. The Water Pulse hits for neutral, but it's not the best move overall. She does a respectable chunk of damage, but we're going to keep going for these Bulldozers while chipping away with the Shadow Claws and start really wearing this Dugong down. And at this point, they actually swap out and catch an Ice Punch on Primeape, which we're super happy with because Beedrill does well against the fighters. The Poison and Bug typing, resisting the fighting damage. We can come in, farm down this Primeape entirely, have energy to dump into the Golbat because I believe X is double resisted, but the Drill Run is only single resisted and you can hit for big damage there. So we're probably going to shield up this move. Yeah, Icy Wind, not too bad, but it's worth shielding up. It would hit reasonably hard. We're a little worried the Dugong was about to get to one more move, so we throw an X-Scissor just to take it out. Was unnecessary because they were actually throwing one more Ice Shard, but still, we've still got the Draw Run banked as well to hit the Golbat for a reasonable chunk of damage. They have to throw to take us out, and we should be able to Water Gun down with Blastoise at this point, no worries, but they only throw a Poison Fang. It's not enough to take us out. We find now with Poison Jab, we take the win. GG. Alright, matchup number 5, and we pull Hypno on the lead. Now, Hypno's quite common in the Kanto Cup meta. It's strong, it's versatile, as a Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Psyshock. It's got a lot of exciting moves that can have great coverage overall, and you've really got to just take a guess at what you think they're running when you do run into one. Now, this one does happen to be running Thunder Punch. Oftentimes, you'll find in this meta the Hypnos will have Shadow Ball and then either Thunder or Fire Punch, which means it's either going to do well against Blastoise or it's going to do well against Sandslash. Now, the thing here is that Blastoise can take a Thunder Punch better than Sandslash can take a Fire Punch. So I'm happy to let the first move through against a Hypno lead with Blastoise, because if it is a Thunder Punch, it's not the end of the world. They realistically are still going to struggle to find me down after. We still got a shield out of them. They're unlikely to be running Fire Punch and Thunder Punch, which means we can come in with Alolan Sandslash, farm down. We're not scared of taking a Thunder Punch from the Hypno, although we did choose to shield all the same. The Shadow Ball does hit pretty hard regardless on a lot of things that it's going to be thrown at. Now they choose to bring in Lickitung to meet our Alolan Sandslash, and that does in one sense make sense because it's double resisting the Shadow Claw damage, yes, but also we're resisting all the charge moves. We're resisting the Body Slams and the Power Whips, so we don't have to shield anything here, and we can just spam Ice Punches and chip down the Lickitung. Alolan Sandslash with Shadow Claw does beat Lickitung, bear that in mind. Now in the back they've got a Shadow Lapras, and Beedrill, as we've said, isn't the most hard wearing Pokemon, so we're going to go for an X-Scissor bait to try and get the shield, and then hopefully just make it to a Drill Run to do enough damage to get this Lapras low enough that even if Beedrill gets taken out, maybe we can just Shadow Claw down with Sandslash, because Sandslash is double resisting those Ice Shard fast moves. It is Ice and Steel. They don't quite get the move off. We Poison Jab down. We take the win. Good game. That's going to round out the first set of battles, which is a 4-1 set. Probably should have been a 5-0 if we had have powered up Sandslash for that first matchup. But either way, 4-1, nothing to sniff at. Cheeky Landorus encounter for the reward, very nice. You don't often see the legendaries as much this season. I feel like once they made them easier to catch, they also made them much rarer, which is not really cool Niantic, but whatever, I guess. I don't mind getting the other Pokemon and the chances for hundos of the new starters and things like that anyway. I'm not too picky. So let's go jump into matchup number 6. We've got Blastoise on the lead against Hypno again, Shadow Hypno, and we're going to stick around in this matchup again. Like we said, we'd rather take the chance that it's got Thunder Punch against Blastoise than gamble that it's got Fire Punch against Alolan Sandslash. As well, on PvPoke, the recommended move currently for Hypno in this meta is to actually run Fire Punch. So I do feel like it's more likely that people will be TMing their Hypnos to have Fire Punch, but there'll be quite a few that are used to running Hypno in the Open Great League and have Thunder Punch to help deal with the Azumarill. So you're going to see about a 50-50 split, but like we said, we're more happy taking a Thunder Punch on Blastoise than a Fire Punch on Alolan. Sandslash. And once again, we're going to come in with Sandslash, go for the farm down. They swap out aggressively into Snorlax. And if this is the matchup I remember, we're going to make a bit of a ballsy play because a superpower is going to be double super effective and take us out. We're going to try and catch a superpower on Beedrill. And you're going to say, how the hell do you catch against a Lick Blastoise? Just watch. I'm going to keep spamming these Ice Punches off because we're going to start chipping down Snorlax just the same as these Ice Punches chip down Lickitung. But they got so low, we knew they had to throw at that moment. So we swapped. We catch the superpower. Absolutely glorious. We don't need to shield the superpower. We don't need to shield this Body Slam. Now it's debuffed. Still does a respectable chunk, but now we can farm down. Snorlax swaps out to Hypno, has a move ready to throw. It's worth a shield. It's just a Thunder Punch, but it would take us out. Farm down with Poison Jab. They bring Snorlax back in. We can just farm that down. And they've got an Alolan Ninetales. Now it is Powder Snow rather than Charm, so it is hitting us for neutral and will wear us down pretty quick. But our Poison Jabs are hitting super hard. We're able to farm down entirely after getting the draw run through. And now we can just X-Scissor the Snorlax, finish them off, take the win. Good game. Beedrill sweep there. Absolutely awesome. I loved that catch. I was absolutely ecstatic with that. Sometimes you just got to get that catch off to take that win. Now, we've got a Clefable on the lead here, and we are going to safe swap Beedrill because both Beedrill and Sandslash do well against Charmers. So we might as well swap out, see what we bait out. Hopefully maybe bait out. The usual idea is that you would bait out something maybe fiery to deal with Beedrill that would absolutely destroy Alolan Sandslash since it's double weak to fire. Then you can take it out with Blastoise and Sandslash is primed to sweep the end game. But dragging out Hypno is just as fine, we don't mind that. Now bringing Blastoise, I don't think we're going to shield the first move. Depends what they throw. It's just a Fire Punch, no biggie at all. So they're obviously trying to bait us. At this point we're expecting Shadow Ball, so I believe we are going to shield. The second move is the Shadow Ball. Great shield there. We're going to Water Gun down entirely at this point, and we should have a Hydro Cannon loaded to dump into this Clefable if it does come back in, which we're expecting to. If we swap out, they must be thinking we have a hard counter to Clefable in the back, which we do. So they bring in Clefable, that's fine. Throw the Hydro Cannon, swap to Sandslash. What's this opponent going to do? They swap out, it's a Shadow Victreebel in the back, and Shadow Victreebel is very high pressure Pokemon to deal with in general, but Alolan Sandslash is resisting those Razor Leafs. Ice Punch is going to absolutely destroy Victreebel, so we're definitely going to be able to take them out and the Clefable and take the win. Bang! Victreebel gets wrecked. Let's get to this Ice Punch and take the win. GG. And again, see, the Beedrill safe swap works well with Sandslash because we did bait out their best answer to Alolan Sandslash, which was Fire Punch Hypno. So very well played to the opponent, but that is the team functioning exactly as I originally intended it to, although it doesn't have to work that way as much as you would think it does. Alright, Dugong lead. This is why you're running Skull Bash on your Blastoise, because it's going to hit for big neutral damage against these water types, against these ice types. And we can take these Icy Winds, they're not going to hit very hard. They're not going to throw Water Pulse because both moves are resisted, and Icy Wind's just a better move in general, so you can expect them to be throwing Icy Winds and debuffing. We don't mind. Throw the Skull Bash, we get the defense boost, and we're going to be able to make it to a second Skull Bash before they take us out, and that's it might not take them out because we are going to be debuffed like 4 times by the time we get to it, but it is going to get them pretty low. The Water Guns are still chipping away. That's the good thing about those single turn fast moves, is that they really chip away over time, even if your attack starts getting worn down. We do pull a shield. They're going to throw to take us out. We're just going to let this go at this point. We're not bothered about taking switch advantage because neither of our Pokemon in the back are particularly strong or weak to Dugong, so we feel like an energy lead is the main advantage we can take. They don't throw an Icy Wind at Sandslash. We've got a boatload of energy. They bring in Charizard and we make a fool's choice. We throw Bulldoze at Charizard. Throw the Ice Punch, it's neutral and it's more energy efficient, and we had 2 of them. Good lord, we could have really threatened Charizard in that situation and forced a shield or taken it straight out with that much energy, but doesn't matter. We swap out to Beedrill, which forces them to swap to Wigglytuff because I don't know, it wasn't the best choice on their part because we can just take them out with an energy advantage to dump more energy into Charizard, farm down with Poison Jab, take the win. Getting that energy lead off of the Dugong really was clutch in that game, because that Charizard could have swept if we didn't have energy to dump in and really chip them down. So well played to the opponent. GG's. Next matchup, Dragonair lead. This is probably one of the worst leads you can see with this team. Blastoise struggles because it's resisting the water gun damage, resisting the Hydro Cannon, it's resisting the Skull... Well, it's not resisting the Skull Bash, sorry. The Dragon Breath chips down Beedrill very, very fast. Pretty much your only answer to Dragonair is Alolan Sandslash. The good news is that the Dragonair actually swapped to a Poliwrath to catch the move, because Blastoise does have access to Ice Beam, which they must have thought that we had, which means we can align Beedrill with the Poliwrath, and then after, we can align Sandslash with the Dragonair, which is a very, very good matchup for Sandslash, and hopefully Blastoise has some play against whatever's in the back. So I'm probably going to let this move go. It's just an Aqua Tail, does a respectable chunk, but it's not going to take us out. We'll have to dump the rest of their energy because we're at risk of getting to an X-Scissor. That's fine, we let it go. Bring in Sandslash and farm down, I believe. They've got Snorlax in the back, and we're just going to stay in this matchup. We're going to dare them to throw Superpower, because if they do, we can commit a shield into Blastoise and Water Gun them down. So we call that it's not a Superpower, it's just a Body Slam. We can take that pretty well, hang on to our last shield. We're going to start dumping Ice Punches in and start putting some pressure on this Snorlax to start using its shields. And we're not going to shield, we're going to say, come on, throw the Superpower. We dare you. We get both shields out of the Snorlax at this point, which is a little surprising because the Hydro Cannon from Blastoise will hit substantially harder than these Ice Punches. And we're going to choose to swap to Blastoise, maybe catch a Superpower, see what they choose to do, because obviously we do still want the Sandslash alive as well to deal with the Dragonair. So we choose to catch. We're going to let this go as well, just completely sack the Blastoise, just make the Snorlax dump its energy. We're going to come back in with Dragonair. We can farm down entirely. Can we get 2 Ice Punches off and take out the Snorlax? It's going to be close. No, we get licked down. GG to the opponent. Realistically, we needed to get to 2 more Ice Punches. We might have played that endgame wrong. I'm not sure. But honestly, the Dragonair lead is very, very tough to deal with for this team. Alright, next matchup, Nidoqueen lead. And you would think that this is a very positive lead for Blastoise because the Water Gun's super effective. But Nidoqueen is honestly just so busted in the Great League. You can see how much work this Nidoqueen's putting in. They throw the Poison Fang, debuffers, swap out to Snorlax. We're just going to throw a Hydro Cannon because this is a Shadow Snorlax. This will hit hard, does more than 50% damage. And we're going to swap to Beedrill. Everything on the team does okay against Nidoqueen. Beedrill and Sandslash obviously do better, although one Earth Power will one-shot Sandslash very, very easily. But we're going to farm down entirely. Just commit 1 shield into that match, and we've got a boatload of energy, and we're going to start dumping it into this Dugong. Throw an X-Scissor, then probably throw a Drill Run. Both moves are pretty similar in energy efficiency from Beedrill. Drill Run's a pretty good move, and X-Scissor's not the best energy efficient move, so even though X-Scissor is stab, they both work out about the same to throw at neutral targets, so it's purely whether you want a bit more damage or not from the Drill Run. We're bringing Sandslash into the Dugong because why not? We resist the Icy Winds, we don't resist the Water Pulse, but we were kind of expecting them to want to debuff us. We're going to keep building up because if they bring in Nidoqueen, we're just going to start throwing Ice Punches at them, which is going to hit for super effective damage. As we said, Nidoqueen doesn't really have a good matchup against this team. It doesn't have bad matchups either because, as we said, the Earth Power is going to threaten Sandslash and Beedrill heavily. And the poison jabs do add up fairly quick, even against tanks like Blastoise. We're going to choose to swap out now that the Dugong's low, clear the debuffs, maybe get to a Hydro Cannon against the Nidoqueen. We're not going to shield this up, whatever it is. Water Pulse, reasonable little chunk, but we do have the Hydro Cannon ready and loaded. We're going to throw it straight away. We are debuffed. I believe they threw an Icy Wind at Blastoise. Doesn't matter. Monstrous damage from the Hydro Cannon. Take out Nidoqueen. Take the win. GG, and that's going to round out the second set of battles. That's going to give us another 4-1 set. As we said, great showing from this team. If you do have any questions, by the way, about the team, don't be afraid to ask down below in the comments. I will try and get back to as many as possible. Alright, I'm going to talk you guys through the next 5 matchups and then leave you with the final 9. So, matchup number 11, we've got a Mew lead. Mew, absolutely terrifying to deal with, no matter what, because you have no idea what moves it's got. If it's got Flame Charge, it can one-shot Sandslash. This is a Volt Switch Mew, which is very interesting. It's not what our Blastoise wants to see, but we're going to stick in here, start throwing these Hydro Cannons, get some shield pressure out, and see what they choose to do. We've got no idea what we're expecting them to have charge move wise, so we're just going to shield up the first move, because there's a reasonable chance it'd have either Grass Knot or Wild Charge. Well, since they've thrown a Surf, we're not going to shield the second move, just see what it is. It's an Overheat. Good lord, that Mew is a spicy moveset. I mean, we survived the Overheat, not super comfortably, but we can get the Hydro Cannon off on the Hypno that does swap in, and now we're going to bring in Sandslash. We're not sure whether to expect Fire Punch or Thunder Punch. We're going to commit the shield just to Thunder Punch. Bit of a shame, and realistically we probably shouldn't have committed that shield in at that point in the game, because it was our last shield. It was worth gambling that it was a Fire Punch, but no harm. We take out the Hypno, we've got some energy. They do have one shield left, but if the Mew comes in, we can threaten them straight away with an Ice Punch to threaten to take them out. They actually bring in Lapras, so we can put in some nice Shadow Claw damage. We're double resisting those Ice Shards, so it's just the Surf that's going to hit us for decent neutral damage. I believe we tried to catch there and didn't quite get it. The Surf, we can survive it reasonably well. It'll take another Surf to take us out for sure. They definitely can't Ice Shard us down. We're going to keep throwing these Bulldozers. We get the last shield, this is great. We don't mind that Sandslash is going to get taken down. We're going to bring in Beedrill, start getting ahead on energy, and see what this opponent wants to do. They should be reasonably energy dry on the Mew, and one X-Scissor will be enough to take out the Mew. So we can comfortably let this go. It's not going to take us out, it's just a Surf. It's reasonably well, but the Mew swaps in. We don't give him chance to even get a Volt Switch through. We're just going to hit him with the X-Scissor, take him out, and then get to an X-Scissor against the Lapras. The opponent realises they've lost, they're going to surrender GG. Alright, matchup number 12. What is Letus Lee bringing into this matchup? It's a regular Sandslash. Regular Sandslash also having access to Night Slash as a Community Day move. I personally prefer the Alolan Sandslash, but regular Sandslash is pretty cool. They swap out into a Nidoqueen, which isn't the best thing to swap into a Blastoise, but as we said before, Nidoqueen can hold its own against Blastoise despite being weak to that water gun damage. So once we absorb the Poison Fang, we're going to swap to Sandslash, since it's going to be double resisting those Poison Jab damage. Now they did build up enough energy for an Earth Power there. If they'd only had enough energy for Poison Fang, it's not worth a shield from Sandslash at all, but it could have been the Earth Power, so definitely worth a shield. See what they want to do. They've now got no shields left in this game, so we're in a reasonably strong position. We shield up the Earth Power, that's fantastic. We can farm down this Nidoqueen all the way. At this point, if the Sandslash comes in, we can threaten them for big damage with all these Ice Punches. They actually come in with Hypno and then catch on the Sandslash. I'm not sure what they were expecting me to throw at them, but those Ice Punches are going to do big damage. We swap out into Blastoise, we lose CMP Tower, we get a little bit energy greedy. We should have thrown the Hydro Cannon straight away just to destroy that Sandslash and get it out of here, because now the Blastoise is in farm down range from Confusion from the Hypno, which gives them a little bit more potential to flip this game around depending on what moveset they've got. Luckily we are going to make it to this Hydro Cannon to get them a little bit lower, and our Sandslash does have an Ice Punch still ready to go. If this move doesn't take out Beedrill, we will get to an X-Scissor and take them out all the same. It's a Fire Punch, super effective, but it's not enough. I'm going to get this X-Scissor off, take out the Hypno, and that's going to be a good game to this opponent. GG. The opponent obviously not having a brilliant way of dealing with a water type lead, having both a ground on the front and in the back, but bringing in the Nidoqueen was the right shout because it handles Blastoise better than their Sandslash does, but also it allows us to absorb the Poison Fang and then clear the debuff straight away by swapping in Sandslash ourselves. Alright, Marowak lead. This is what the Blastoise lead is for, is to catch one of those fire types that does well against both Beedrill and Sandslash and then keep control of the game from there. Now they swap out into a Charmer, a Wigglytuff, which Beedrill is a very hard punish for. The Poison Jabs are super effective, you're resisting the charms. I'm going to take them out before they get to a potential Ice Beam and force a shield out of us, and now we can get to draw runs, threaten this Alolan Marowak for big damage. It won't take it out, but it does hit it for about, I think it's about 3/4 of its health, maybe 2/3. Does a lot of damage all the same, so we get a shield out of them. We've still got Blastoise locked in against this thing, so we're still in a very good position. We let the Shadow Bone go through because Blastoise is pretty bulky, and if they did happen to get the defense drop that Shadow Bone can possibly give, then it's better off shielding up the second charge move that they throw at you in that scenario anyway. We're going to swap out to Hypno. We've got Alolan Sandslash to punish this thing. We throw a Thunder Punch, which means we're really not expecting them to have Fire Punch. So we're just going to go ahead and throw 2 Ice Punches here. And we're going to be able to take this game unless it turns out they have Fire Punch and we let it go and somehow we don't manage to take out this Hypno with the Blastoise, which realistically is not going to happen. We'll let this go through, and if it's a Fire Punch at this point, doesn't matter. Just a Thunder Punch, doesn't take us out. We're able to farm down with the Sandslash. We will be able to get to a Bulldoze against the Marowak, so we're in a very, very commanding position. The opponent surrenders, and it's a good game. Alright, next matchup, what do we do against an opposing Alolan Sandslash? And again, this is going to have the legacy move of Shadow Claw, so it is going to be hitting us for neutral damage, which comes in quite handy for Sandslash against these opposing water types, such as Blastoise, but we're going to stay in. We're going to throw the Hydro Cannons because they do not resist. The water damage would do big damage to Sandslash. Now, we can let this go, because we're assuming it might be Bulldoze, and Bulldoze isn't a particularly good move, especially when it's not Stab, so we're not feeling pressured particularly to shield that up. Now, we do want to shield this up because we're very close to a Skull Bash, and we do want to throw the Skull Bash and either force the last shield out of this opponent or do monstrous damage to this Blastoise. We are going to swap out as soon as we throw it and clear the defense buff that we get, but that Blastoise is pretty much dead in the water anyway, so the defense buff is absolutely meaningless at that point. Now, we make a bit of a mistake here and swap straight out into our own Alolan Sandslash, which realistically we should actually probably swap into Beedrill, because we were going to shield the Hydro Cannon anyway, but then Beedrill would have probably been able to finish off the Blastoise before it got to this second Hydro Cannon, which does a big chunk to Sandslash and puts us in a bit of an awkward position. Their Sandslash comes in and is going to throw an Ice Punch at us, which we will survive, it's double resisted, and we just make it to the Bulldoze, but we throw the Ice Punch instead. We absolutely chickened out. We should have committed in, because that would have taken out the Sandslash there and would have put us in a nice position for the end game, depending on what they had. Now Beedrill's a little bit stuck because Alolan Sandslash does double resist the poison jab, so we can't farm down. We do have to throw a charge move here to finish them off. We decide to catch an Ice Punch on Blastoise, which is a very nice catch to make him pull off, but is it going to give us enough edge to be able to finish whatever's in the back? Blastoise tries to catch, we farm it down. They've got a whole Pokemon back there. What is it going to be? It's a Hypno. Now, if we had maybe Shadow Beedrill, or this was a Shadow Hypno, then maybe 2 X's would have just KO'd, but also that confusion would also have been taken us out in that situation. So either way, we can't take the win in this game. If we had thrown the Bulldoze on Sandslash against theirs, we would have won the game. But GG, all the same. Matchup number 15 coming in, and we've got Shadow Machamp on the lead. And as we said earlier, we're happy to stay in here. You see the water guns really do chip away. Blastoise is bulky enough to survive one cross chop, although the second one will take you out. But we're still happy to commit a shield, keep Blastoise a little bit healthier, just in case for some reason this Machamp actually lets the Hydro Cannon go through. We get a little bit greedy and lose the CMP tie, but we can, as we said, survive the cross chop and get this Hydro Cannon off anyway. Very lucky, because it was very close to not surviving that. We get farm down, we're going to bring in Beedrill and just poison jab down. They're not going to make it to a rock slide, so this is cross chop. It's resisted by Beedrill, we don't need to shield it up. Completely fine. Get an energy lead and see what we can do against whatever's in the back. They bring in Snorlax, and Snorlax is pretty bulky, and Body Slam is such a good move that it will take out Beedrill from this range. So I think we're going to try and swap to now we're going to stay in, keep throwing X's. Maybe we'll try and catch a Body Slam on Alolan Sandslash. We undercharge for some reason the X's, maybe we just made a mess of that, but we do manage to catch. Is this the Body Slam? It is. That's a fantastic catch. Is it going to be enough? They swap it with an Alolan Marowak in the back. Look at how much those fire spins are doing. Double, super effective. This Bulldoze is probably not going to be enough to take out the Alolan Marowak anyway, plus they've got a shield. We're in a very iffy position now because we're going to have to shield this move up, and then we're not going to be able to get to a move as well against the Snorlax. The Marowak got plenty of energy against the Sandslash, so we're going to take us out. They're going to take that win. I don't know if there was a way that we could have won this matchup, because if we would have swapped into Sandslash against the Snorlax, they could have forced the last shield out of us anyway, because we would have been scared of a superpower. So really, we're in a losing position just for them having that combination of Pokemon in the back to match ours. So a little unfortunate, but that is going to give us a 3-2 in the third set, winning this team. Then I'm going to leave you guys with the last 9 battles, and as I said, the 25th matchup was the one I showed at the beginning of the video, and these 2 sets are both 5-0 sets, so complete clean sweeps with the team that I did this morning. So if you guys want to see that, you want to see some more matchups with the team and how to play it in some other situations, then keep watching for those matchups. They're going to just be playing along at a little bit higher speed for you guys to check out. Although this game did make me laugh, it's just an Alolan Ninetales on the lead that swaps out to a Rhydon, which is double weak to the water gun. The opponent realizes they've made an absolute mistake there and they just surrender and give us the win. GG all the same, no disrespect to the opponent, but it did amuse me quite a bit, that match. So if you guys like the team or the content, hit the like button. If you liked the video and want to see more, consider hitting the subscribe button. If you've got any questions about the team, ask me down below. I will try and get back to you. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You're absolute legends, and I will catch all of you next time.
Come on.